You've reached Don Orris. Thank you for calling me. Please leave me your name, your phone number. We'll get back to you. Have a good day.
Don, good morning. This is Josh Shanley with eXp Realty. We spoke, I want to say, back late fall, early winter, and I had a reminder to give you a call around this time to check back in and see where you guys were at with everything. I think there was a property in Hershey that we were chatting about, and maybe there was another one as well. My memory's a little bit fuzzy on that. Anyway, this is my personal cell. Give me a call back when you have a couple of minutes to chat, or feel free to text me back if that's easier. Thanks, Don. Have a good day and stay warm. Just rocking a little early here. Morning, Jim. Making sure you got my video with info details. Any interest? Let's see here. I got to close the loop on a couple of responses to my deal of the week email from last week. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Here we go. I got to search by this. We'll officially get started in about 5 minutes. This is me just taking care of some early work. Alexa, shuffle my Morgan Wallen playlist.
Shuffling Josh Morgan Wallen from Apple Music.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm closing the loop on people that had replied to my deal of the week email and had asked for one or more replies or one or more information on one or more properties. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to at least, I think I'm going to close the loop on several of the off-market deals that I was featuring in there. In other words, I'm going to go back to them and say, hey, just so you know, I did let our buyer database know about your property. I have at least X amount of people who were intrigued enough to want more information. I've sent them that. I'm continuing a conversation with them. I just wanted to keep you in the loop. And the reason I'm doing that is A, obviously I would love to just bring them a buyer. B, they listed it before. They didn't sell it, at least a couple of these that I featured in my deal of the week email. Eventually they may list it again, and I want to have differentiated myself versus others that may be reaching out. Morning, Ken. Just making sure you got the info I had sent over. Would it make sense to explore any of the three you were interested in more detail? And those that are wondering, I put music on because I find that my mood on these and just in general is better when I've got some music playing in the background. Okay, here we go. Morning, Hassan. Making sure you got the info I had sent over. Any interest in checking it out in person? That's a vacant fixer-upper, easy to go check out in person. And like a couple minutes from my house. So easy peasy. Morning, Krista. Making sure you got the info I had sent your way on number 4 and 5. Either of them. Any interest in either of them and exploring in more detail? All I'm trying to do right now, for those hopping on, I'm trying to close the loop on people that had responded to my deal of the week email looking for information, and just okay, I did, thank you. It's not what we're looking for. Makes perfect sense. Can you tell me a little more about what you are looking for? So I can keep you in mind when we come across properties that might be a better fit for you. Okay. I'm replying. I'm going back and replying to people who replied to my deal of the week email and asked for more information. And what I'm looking to do is close the loop. In other words, I sent them an email. They said, "Hey, I might be interested in this property," or some of them told me 3 properties that they wanted more information on, etc. And all I want to do is I want there to be closure, right? I just want closure. Are you interested or not? And more importantly, obviously, in a perfect world, I would love to find, I would have loved to have at least one of these people say, "Yeah, I'm ready to go on this one." But more than anything, I just want to, and that email that I just sent was a perfect example. I just want to know what better fits their criteria. If they were interested enough to reply to the email, they are at least more motivated and interested than the people that didn't reply, right? So let's go deeper with those folks because they are closer to the goal line than other people are. The other reason why I want to close the loop on them is so I can go back to, in particular, actually, really, all 5 of these, go back to those the owners of these properties because they're off market. A couple of them were expired. One of them was an existing client. One of them was an off market deal that I found just from local relationships. And the other one, I think, was a for sale by owner. I want to go back to them and be able to say, "Hey, just so you know, I did let our buyer database know we had a couple of people interested. No one ready to pull the trigger yet, but I'm just keeping you in the loop as far as that goes." So, what time is it now? Let me close the loop on a couple of those. I'm going to do just a real quick mindset and someone sharing a win. And James, I just realized that you had put in the chat you had a win to share, and maybe you did yesterday and I forgot, or maybe I just didn't see it. So if you've got something to share, I would love to hear that as well. And then today is going to be a shorter session because I just have my day is stacked high and deep with stuff. But one thing I'm going to at least share a little bit this morning is more outreach using Lead Deck on my phone to a couple more seller leads that I did not have time to get to yesterday. I think I added them to a deck, but I just didn't even have time to work through them yet. So what I'm going to do is just one example of then using the fact that I had done work on behalf of this seller and get back to that, back to them. So Aaron, let's see here. Okay. Morning, Aaron. Just wanted to keep you in the loop. I did let our buyer database know about your property. We had at least 4 people request more info, which I then sent them. No one ready to make an offer just yet, but I'll keep you posted. Thanks. Okay. And so Aaron, I don't know if I don't really know if it's I don't know if it's husband and wife or whatever, but I was emailing. So this one came from the story that I shared. I was last Monday. I was at a gas station while my kids were working out, and I pulled a small list of expired. I put it into Lead Deck, and I was just tapping to text and tapping to emailing. In that time, I got 3 yeses, meaning 3 that said, yes, we're still accepting offers. And what happened on this one is Aaron replied by email pretty quickly while I was still there. And I got a reply to the text, but it wasn't Aaron. So it was either husband or father, daughter, or something. I don't know. But it's 2 different people. So I'm going to keep both of them updated. Just wanted to keep you in the loop. I did let our buyer database know about your property, and we had at least 4 people request more info, which I then sent them. No one ready to make an offer just yet, but I'll keep you posted. Okay. Just like demonstrating that I'm working on their behalf without any expectation of response. And what I found is when you do that work, sometimes they just come to their own conclusions and they come to you and say, hey, we're ready to relist it. We'd like to chat with you about that. No guarantees, but you never know. All right. I don't have any slides today. Normally I put together a couple of slides. It was a busy morning. Here's what I'm going to do. Yesterday was a marathon. Today's going to be a shorter session for a number of reasons. And I did a longer, I'll call it rant on mindset. But instead of going, I'm just going to do a 30-second recap of that. Okay? 30-second recap of that. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And then do more volume, more reps than is reasonable, such that you can't possibly lose. So there you have it. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Focus on the yeses, not the negatives, and then just put in so many reps that is unreasonable that you wouldn't get results. Wendy is on here. Wendy participated in our deal sprint. She's not in the Founders Club yet, but we're going to fix that soon, hopefully. She texted me yesterday afternoon, and I thought I would share, with her permission, this text message she sent me. Josh, all caps, exclamation point. Something's good's coming here. I sent your deal email, and I posted it out to like 10 groups, Facebook groups. So far, 1 investor, 1 guy who owns a $1.6 million house, and 3 other inquiries. None of these people are people I have ever spoken to before. LFG, which means, let's fudging go. What's funny about that to me is I give people that blueprint in the free workshop that I've been talking about. And yet I still had people on last week's workshop that were like, I really thought this was going to be more training and tactics. I literally give the exact blueprint. Wendy did what is included in the free training. Some people they can't get out of their own way. They can't, they think, oh, well, that must be, if it's that simple, how could it possibly work? Or there's got to be some more complicated thing. No. The difference is, will you do it? Will you implement? That's the difference. This is the second slide, I think, in that presentation. This does work and will work, but only if you do the work. Shocker. James, did you have something that I unfortunately didn't let you share yesterday?
Oh, yes. So Tim, also in the Founders Club here in Denver, we actually met up the other day in person, hung out, talked about lead deck and all opportunities around here. But he had a deal, a foreclosure type deal. And he's like, hey, you know anybody wanting to buy this? And I was like, he's like, this could be a good co-living house. And he knows that I am into that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have a buyer, like ready to go.
Yep.
So I actually had her go by and look at it twice, did floor plan, all that, and trying to figure out if it'll work. Not
Beautiful.
sure if it'll work. It's one of those, it's been vacant. It might have frozen pipes.
Ooh.
That's kind of a big
Yeah.
So she might be throwing on the brakes there. But it's these connections just within our group here, you know.
Yep.
It's opening up.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because yesterday, if you missed yesterday's lives, by the way, you know, depending on where you're watching this or whatever, if you want recordings, and by the way, you know, yesterday's session was almost 2 hours, so I'm not expecting anyone to consume that. However, we take the transcripts and we break it down into infographics and punchy summaries, et cetera. And Sean is even working on adding AI where you could go to a session and say, you know, summarize the part where Josh was strategizing with Campbell based upon his situation or scenario. Anyway, the point is, what I was trying to get to is in the description, if you're watching this on one of the live stream platforms, there are links to join us here in the Zoom room, to watch the past replays, to register for a free live workshop we're doing later in the week, et cetera, et cetera. What I was going to say is Campbell shared a scenario yesterday, and while we were going through that scenario, there was 2 other people just in this small little room in that same little area. So I love that we've got a little community sharing and community activity going on. Campbell, I think you're here, but you're probably working. I'm going to say this so I don't forget later. I have one other thing to add to your question yesterday, but I want to share it in our. Well, no, so I'm gonna hold it until our lead deck lab for Founders Club members, because I think it's more appropriate there for a couple of different reasons. Not that I won't ever share it here, but I want to clarify that thinking there. 1 p.m. today. So don't. Okay, so don't let me forget about that. But there was one.
Hey, brother, love that idea about adding the AI for being able to search. That is a fantastic upgrade.
Yeah. And for those using Lead Deck, we have Decky, which is an AI. It's already there, but it doesn't necessarily have the functionality to search specific episodes or things like that yet, although that's coming. However, it does have now 400 hours of me that it is searching, where you go and ask a question. It will search that knowledge base and answer sort of, you know, what would Josh do kind of thing. And it'll only get better the more we feed it, hopefully anyway. So a couple other things here. So I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pull up Lead Deck on my phone. And I'm going to work through another deck that I did not get to yesterday. Maybe I didn't run it. Looks like I didn't run that deck. And I ended up saying this like multiple times yesterday on Zooms and phone calls with people using the tool or thinking about using the tool, etc. Which is absentee owner, tired landlord, that lead type is like your conversation to potential contract ratio, in my opinion and experience, is the highest. The reason is, or a reason is, and what I had been telling folks repeatedly yesterday, is when you have a conversation with an absentee owner, tired landlord, etc., meaning they own multiple properties, and in many cases they own 3, 4, 5, 10. Go for 3 no's. here's what I mean. You're reaching out, at least what I'll be doing is I'm reaching out to see if they would consider an offer on that property. They say no. Any other properties in your portfolio that you wish you didn't have or that you would consider an offer on? They say no. Okay. Are you looking for, are you looking to add to your portfolio? It is really hard to have a conversation with an absentee owner or a retired landlord and not get one yes from those three questions. It's possible. And I think that guy, Paul, yesterday or last week, the guy that I called and I was like, Mary? And then I realized, oh, wait, it's Mary and Paul. Paul clearly answered. So I called Paul back. He was 3 no's, but that's really unusual. He was 3 no's, and yet I still added him to my CRM with his primary residence. And at some point, he's going to be looking to sell one of his existing portfolio properties or do something. That much I'm certain. And so had a conversation. I did get the 3 no's, but I still added an engaged contact to my database, to my CRM. So during that rant there,
do you typically try to get permission from them to stay in touch with them in the future?
yeah, I would say when I'm on my game, absolutely. So if they say no to all 3 of those, okay, Paul, totally get it. Would you be completely opposed to me keeping you updated like on a monthly basis, what's going on real estate wise and I would be looking at like his primary residence at this point, would you be totally opposed to me keeping you kind of in the loop, what's going on with the real estate market on a like on a monthly basis in Annville? Because I think he had an Annville address. Yes, 100%. And also, even if I don't get permission, I don't think like what I send, even if I don't get the permission, is very like it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's not offensive in any way, right? So like if Stuart all of a sudden started to get an email and a postcard keeping him in the loop on his property, is he going to be all that bent out of shape? I don't think so. Hey, Ben. Hey, how are you? Good. Good morning. Not at all. Not at all. I talked to him again yesterday. I'm supposed to talk to the brother at some point this week. It's 2 brothers. It was Dad's house. It's been vacant for a number of years at this point. And yeah, he had given me permission for me or you to poke around the outside. You probably can't get in. I'm guessing it's all locked up, but it's definitely, well, it's vacant unless somebody's squatting in there or something. Okay, good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Okay. I should have a better idea later this week, I think, anyway. I think that's probably pretty accurate. I can't remember. He told me they had done a couple of things recently, but not like anything major. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, one of the brothers lives nearby. Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that means I can go in because I got Craig's. That's actually helpful for me to know because then I can pop by at some point this week and at least get pictures. Oh wow. Okay. It might have. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was the brother. I don't know why he would leave it open, but
outside, but I'm not going to go running through without them knowing.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to piss anybody off. But, I mean, the snow could have been down, but the back door's hanging 3 feet open. I mean, I can pull it shut for you if you want.
Yeah, that's probably not a terrible idea.
But, yeah, I mean, it's yeah. There's a bunch of stuff in there and stuff like, yeah, I don't know if somebody's living in it or not.
Yeah.
It could have just been pushed open. Like, the door doesn't seem to. I'll tell you what, the door doesn't seem. I don't think it is. I don't think anybody's.
Yeah. The wind maybe blew it open or something.
Yeah, as soon as I pushed on, it opened right back up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it's too much of a project for me to take on with the other one.
Sure.
Right now.
Yeah.
But, I would pass it on.
Okay.
I mean, somebody's probably going to spend. It's got a decent roof on it. I can see under the snow. It's got a good corrugated metal roof.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, the meter box is off. Hey, I don't know. Someone's got to buy this in the lower 100s.
That's kind of what I was thinking, just based upon what they shared and what I could see ARV wise.
If you wanted to make, because you're going to spend, I'll tell you, I'm just taking a wild guess, but you could end up with 75 grand in this house very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
So, you want to be all in, all done. I would think totally done. This house is in the mid 2s.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, 230 to maybe 250, depending on, to what degree you fix it up.
Right. I mean, if it's neat as a pin, ready to move in, everything's right, you could get, I still think Shippensburg's a little less than Carlisle. Everything's 250,000 or better.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a nice house.
Sure.
So if you bought it at 100, you put 100 in it, you make 50 grand. That's probably in the neighborhood of where you have to be.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, I haven't even been in it, but
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if they're in that range, let me know. And,
Okay.
I'll pass it on to some guys. I just don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep you posted, and I appreciate you popping by. Yeah.
You get something. This is a little far out for me, but not terrible. If I wouldn't have bought the other one, I'd be, asking
More curious. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Ben.
All right. You bet. See you.
Appreciate you. That was Ben. Ben is a client I picked up using Lead Deck early on.
You're extremely rich guy.
No, that's Sam. I talked to him again yesterday. He's a little bit like what's the word? Like air, you're just like, I talk to him. It seems like we're all ready to go. And then I don't hear from him for like 7 to 10 days. But I do, I did have a good conversation with him yesterday, and I have some homework to do. This is an investor that he bought a bank-owned deal. This is one that we played cat and mouse with the asset manager for like weeks, and finally we won. And I called him about this property that I was supposed to go see on Friday, but it's two brothers selling dad's house, and the brother I was supposed to meet at the property, his car broke down or whatever. But that didn't stop me from using that as bait to reach out to existing people like Ben and others. Now, I reached out to Ben knowing he just bought one with me, and it's a project. And I very much was like adamant, Ben, I am not calling thinking you're going to be interested, but I know that you know a lot of people in this area because it's 40, 45 minutes from me. And I also know that, which he was actually calling me about, I know that he's in that vicinity. So I said, hey, if you're nearby, pop by, check it out. Let me know what the deal is, right? So, because I don't really want to drive out there if I can't get in. I wanted to get in, if I go there, I want to get in and at least get photos. So I didn't want to go there without knowing that I could get in. They were fine with me getting in, but they thought it was all secure. According to him, it wasn't. The back door was open. But regardless, I took that because I knew it'd be a good conversation. And it's just illustrating just the more people, the more cards you have in your hand, it's not just that you match up those cards, but the people in that, in your hand, they know other people, right? So you leverage them. And now I have, for those of you that have watched for a while, I've got a guy in Franklin County. Franklin County is like an adjacent county, and it's pretty far from me. On deals like that, I just call that guy. His name is Bryce, and I say, hey, Bryce, go check it out. Let me know your number. it saves me a trip. And sometimes, that's then the offer that I'm taking to the owners, and I'm pivoting to my 7-day stress-free home sale, or he's bought a couple with me too. So Ben is also, he's become like that for my Western Cumberland County area coverage. And just the more of those relationships you have, the better. I lost my train of thought, but I also needed to, one of the rules is answer your phone, and I knew Ben would be a good conversation. So back to this. Yeah, go ahead, Stuart.
You're talking about one of the investors, I forget exactly. But anyway, it made me think, do you track some of those responses? For instance, I got a message back the other day that says, no, I'm keeping that property type of thing. That guy may show up on another deck at some point, on another search. And if I just blindly hit the button and it goes to him, you almost kind of look like an idiot. It's like, no, I told you last week that, I'm keeping this property.
Well, if it's a different property, he won't show up again with the same property in a different deck. And if it's a different property, I wouldn't have a problem. And I do the text.
Multi-family owner or something. So I had something I was pitching out to, looking for something. So he's an owner that he's
Okay.
on to. So,
Well, did you pivot to? Do you have anything else that you wish you didn't have in your portfolio right now?
Actually, I just did. I thought I hit the send button the other day, but it was in the draft folder, so I just sent it.
So that's a good one. And I always start with text. Well, I say that always. I always start with phone. Sometimes it's call, sometimes it's text. And I should probably default to texting, especially the more I'm doing outreach, because if I've already texted that number, it's threaded. So I think it happened yesterday. If it didn't happen yesterday, it happened last week, where I went to text someone and there was already a text message about a different property to them. So I can either change my messaging. So if that would happen in that scenario, you could even reference, hey, I know I had already chatted with you about this property, but I just came across another one that you seem to be the owner on. Is there any chance you'd consider an offer on this one? And honestly, like I even all of that considered, I don't think you look like an idiot. I think you look like a hustler. And when they say you just reached out about, and I just own it. I'm so sorry. We've been doing a lot of outreach because we have a lot of clients who are very aggressively looking for properties that they can make offers on, and I'm just doing my job for them. So I don't think to me, there's almost no scenario where that's like truly a negative. And in most cases, you can identify it ahead of something, goofy like that happening.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Bill had a question, and so I'm going to share this question. I'll address it, and then I'm going to get to tap to calling and texting. Good morning, Josh. Julius, Bill has a VA who's doing outreach. Sent 75 texts and emails with one response once yesterday. He wants to make sure with your new messaging, he's on track with averages for response. That is way, way below. So something is still wrong with either the messaging or the method. So either the message still needs tweaked, or the method, meaning it's a deliverability issue because he's using Follow Up Boss and not using an actual phone. So there's something still very much broken. And Bill, if you want, I can get with him. I know I had updated the calendar invite for to be the same time on Friday, but I can get with him sooner so that he can make the best from from if he's working today or if that was from today. I don't know.
Josh, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be great, Josh, if you could move that up from Friday to sooner so we get ahead of this before he sends out another 75 with just one response.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Question. I took those off-market, fully renovated homes, and I created the post like you talked about to go to the different Facebook groups and Nextdoor, and I got crickets from it. I'm thinking that I probably need to change up what I did, since it didn't get any response, and put it out again.
Are you open to sharing what you posted?
Yeah, I'm open to absolutely.
Okay, here, I'm going to, you should be able to share your screen now.
Give me a minute. I gotta find it. You cover something while I hunt this down.
Okay. So Mike asked, your phone will also tell you that you dialed that number before ? I have no idea. And again, I just don't think it's a bad thing. Once it is surfaced, you own it. I'm so sorry. We've been reaching out to so many property owners on behalf of clients. I didn't even realize that we had that conversation. I'm just working hard for them. And most of them will appreciate the hustle. Some of them won't. You know, so what? Who's next? While Campbell is finding that, I'm going to see if I can do some time.
Suggestion how to find that in the group?
Oh, if you're in the group, here, I'll show you. I'll share. So if you pull up the group, I'll just grab a random group here. So if I pull up the group and then do the search and put your name in.
Okay, and I'll bring that to the 1 o'clock meeting. I got to bounce for that 10 now.
Okay, yeah, bring that there. That's perfect. That would be great.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep, perfect.
See you shortly.
Good luck. So, Mike, what number shows up when calling from the follow-up boss? So this is an example of what I said yesterday. Market, message, method. If you're getting lower than average response, there's something likely wrong with one or more of those three. The market is the target audience. So the seller target or the buyer target. The message is, what are we saying? The method is, how are we actually delivering that? And so Bill has a VA that is sending these messages through Follow-Up Boss. And that is not the perfect best case scenario method. And yet, we still want to figure it out and see if we can improve that to what degree that we can improve that. So in a perfect world, you know,
I make calls and texts from Follow-Up Boss all the time, so it's not a problem. I connect with anybody I want through Follow-Up Boss.
Okay, but you say it's not a problem, but you're calling and texting people that you probably already have some level of.
No.
Okay.
Follow-Up Boss has a local Charlotte 704 number, and I have a dialer attached to Follow-Up Boss. That's the number he's using. So when you make calls, it's a local number. When you text, it's a local number. And if it's a brand new lead that I've never talked to, they still answer the phone or they still respond to a text. Now, the method is not an issue. Follow-Up Boss local number is perfectly fine.
I would say that the method still could be problematic, even though despite and not problematic, but not ideal. And yet this is important. Bill, I'm just trying to make it. I'm not blaming that. I want to figure it out with that. Yeah.
Like which one of those three is it? Has to be one of three.
Yeah.
It can't go outside those three. So
right. We have very fixed. It's a very fixed data set, and it's really there's not a lot of other variables at play.
Right.
So we'll fix it.
Okay.
And even if we just get it down to 1 out of 25.
Exactly.
That's a huge, that's a huge improvement.
1 out of 75 is too far out.
Totally.
Like the whole reason you're doing this, Josh, is because you don't want to sit on the phone for 3-4 hours a day.
Correct.
Calling expired, FISBOs, and everyone else under the sun.
Yep.
Trying to narrow it down and sharpshoot instead of just spray and pray and go wide and sit on the phone all day just to find one or two, right?
Totally.
That's the whole goal of this that I see.
Totally. Exactly.
Yeah.
The sharpshooter idea, right? To be able to pick them off easier with less time investment in that piece of it, right? Like getting more results from less time, effort, and data. 100%.
That's what I saw in lead.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, that's why I'm here.
Yep.
If I can do that, time, everybody time, and let's get to the point. Let's get to the buyers. Let's connect the buyers and the sellers faster. That's the whole goal of this. Otherwise,
Well,
we're just gonna.
will he be on?
A regular dialer.
Will the both of you be on the lab?
Today at 1, yes.
Perfect.
I will be. I think Julius, you can do 1 o'clock today, right? I think he's.
If he can't, I'll get a time that works. But if he can, I mean, it will be beneficial to all.
That'd be better, right?
It'll be beneficial to more than just the two of you.
Yeah, I definitely will be, and I think Julius.
Okay.
There today at 1 o'clock as well. So we could talk about this more then.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Perfect. Harry said, "Is there a group for founders, Facebook or school?" We don't have a group. I've thought about that. I do have the school community leads, listings and leverage. That is free to all. We haven't created a group for the Founders Club. He's been putting the resources. It all lives under Get Started. But having a group where we could create or foster more community, there is something to that. So as that group grows, having something where we can foster more community and share, there's definitely something to be said there. My hesitation always with that kind of stuff is, does it just increase overwhelm for people? Oh, I got another thing that I got to go, But school has gotten to a point where it's pretty closer to sort of household name kind of thing. I mean, it's not the same as Facebook. A Facebook group is not the answer for that, at least in my opinion and experience. Too much of that stuff gets.
I was just wondering, because you said in the last conversation, you said something about the group, and I was talking to somebody else, to another agent who's part of this, Paul Z, and this morning, and he just asked me. We were talking about it, and he said, I wonder if there's a group that we're supposed to be part of.
When I said group, I meant the collective body of people, not an actual group. But there's something to that, and maybe we could, maybe we could get some feedback from members. Yeah.
I sort of agree with you that you get overwhelmed by all these.
Yeah, and we don't want people. There's a fine line for what's too much and what's not enough and so forth. So we want to be careful about that line as best we can. But I'm open to feedback, and that'll be a great question for 1 o'clock. And for those of you, Sean was like really down and out for about 48 hours or maybe even 3 days. He got like really bad food poisoning, and he's had some other health issues last year. That means when stuff like that happens, it can wipe him out even more than someone who might have not had those problems or issues. Anyway, all right. I'm going to tap to text. Tap to text and then tap to call. This is a multifamily property owner in Enola, tax delinquent, and it looks like maybe pre-foreclosure. Not maybe. I mean, according to the record, the card. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you can see. I mean, you see this stuff here. Pretty interesting. Oliver, hey, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling about your multifamily property in Enola, the one at 227 Pennsylvania Ave. I'm curious if there's any chance you would consider selling that property. I've got a private client who is very aggressively looking for multifamilies in Cumberland County, particularly eastern part of Cumberland County, and we're just reaching out to see if folks like yourself might be open to or consider selling. I did shoot you a text as well. If you could let me know either way, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks. So this one, for whatever reason, there's like there's 4 mobile numbers, none of them on the DNC. So I'm going to call and text each of the first 3. Oh, that's a bad number. Okay, so that's I found a blue text. Aha. The third one is an iPhone. Oh, it went right straight to voicemail. Oliver, hey, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I am reaching out about your multifamily property on Pennsylvania Ave in Enola. I'm wondering if there's any chance you would consider selling that property to a private client of ours. We have someone who's very aggressively looking to add to their portfolio, particularly looking for multifamily properties in Eastern Cumberland County area. If you wouldn't mind letting me know either way, I did shoot you a text as well. Thanks. Hello, this is Josh. Yeah. Yep.
All that stuff. So I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Of course, I can't bring it up right now. I have a question about the with the attachments. There was some things where I was confused about.
This is someone that called about one of my listings last week, and she's calling me back. Lisa, I'm not a developer, and I'm not the right person to ask this. What I can tell you is the drawings indicate setback requirements and so forth. So that was a plan that was drawn up by the previous owner, before this owner even, who had subdivided off this lot as an additional building lot. So who that information would be relevant to is whoever you would use to actually do the development, like who you would hire as the builder for the property. They would have to use those plans to determine, okay, how close to the property lines can we be, and to create the blueprint for, what property, what size, or I'm sorry, not what property, what size and shape of a home is going to fit on this lot and work.
Yeah, because it looked kind of in a way it looked like there was like two properties there, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but the one on the right. So if you're looking at it, there is 2. That plan divides that what was 1 into 2, and so it's correct. Well, wait a minute. No, I don't think it's the one on the right. It's the one on the left. It's 7B.
7B.
Yeah.
That was weird. I'm like, okay, it says 7B. What's 7B? 701, 7,
Yeah. Right. So 701 is the street, the assigned street number, but for whatever reason in that subdivision plan, it's labeled as 7B. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. All right. Then that makes perfect sense now, because I was like trying to figure that out so I could understand it better, and so I could see, what the size was, what I'd be able to fit on there, if I, that kind of thing. What size, house I'm because I'm not going for a big, huge building or anything like that. I'm just a little house that I can, just put there. So I'm trying to get my ducks in a row and trying to get information so that I can get. And then I was the other question was, and maybe that was all that I had. since you said that the other things from before, from the other people that were there, that had the property before.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could put a driveway, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. I don't have it right in front of me. A 16 by 60, it's definitely bigger than that. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up quick here. Yeah, no, it's 62 feet wide and 183 deep. 16 would be not, I mean, you couldn't possibly build on it if it was that. It's 62 by 183. Yep.
That makes more sense. Okay. I don't know where I got that 16. It just came.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's better that way. Okay. All right. Well, I'm putting my stuff together. I'm trying to get and is it what kind of financing are they requiring?
What do you mean?
I mean, some of them are like, just cash or conventional.
Oh, I mean, you could get a construction loan for it. You could, if you can get approved for a construction loan, that would be fine on it, and that could be conventional. It could be FHA, it could be VA. That they all have their own versions of a construction, and some of them are what they call land to or construction to perm. So it's like there are some that will do draws and some that will do it. So there's a lot of different ways that it could be structured.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of going to K something. It's through PFH.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was reading up on that last night because I'd gone through the classes and stuff at Pennsylvania Housing, and so I was trying to figure out, okay, because what exactly I would need to do and stuff. So I'm going to call up there today and talk to them, and then we'll hopefully move that forward.
Okay.
And I will hopefully have some answers, at least somewhat of an answer.
Okay.
Moving forward. So I will be in touch with you hopefully in the next few weeks or so.
Perfect.
It won't take that long. I will be out of here by the spring.
Okay.
There's only 40 some days till spring. So it's like 40. Like I was telling my grandson, I said, because it's really, really, really cold in Canada. I said, well, spring starts on March 20th.
Can't come soon enough.
And I said, so it's about 48 days till spring, so you need to put that on our phone. And he goes, why do you want people on your phone? I said, yeah, I said, I keep track of that. I said, we know I don't like 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm working on that. Because it's really, I can't even imagine trying to dig it in the ground now.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets difficult.
Yeah. So I will be in touch with you and keep you posted, okay?
Perfect. Thanks, Lisa.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. So my impatient personality was showing there. This is a wonderful, nice woman. She spoke to me. I don't know how long last week. She called on a building lot I have for sale. She called from the sign, I think anyway, because she didn't know. Based upon our conversation, that I should have specifically asked, but the context clues led me to believe she was calling because she saw the sign. She talked my ear off last week, and then, I don't know. I don't have the heart to like cut people off like that, but there's zero chance that she's going to buy this lot and build a house on it. Zero chance. She doesn't have income. She doesn't have it's just like, so I try to be nice and listen because you never know who she knows either. But the impatient, the impatient personality in me was like, all right, Lisa, enough. Move on. Anyway. So I called the numbers on that one. And I did the tap to email now. Let's go to the next record. I'm going to try and get through 8. She does have a fantasy to build her own home. And God bless her. Like, I hope she can. But based upon what she shared, there is zero chance she's getting a pre-approval for a construction loan to purchase the lot and build on it. But look, like, even if there's a whatever percent chance, I'm up for at least at least trying. So I didn't want to like squash her dreams, but I mean, let's face it, it's a low success chance. All right. This next one in my deck, the first number is DNC, but the second number is a mobile and is not on the DNC. I tapped to text, and now I'm calling. Yeah, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling about 84 Front Street in Enola. Stuart, your question or thought about that makes a ton of sense. I think it is there. And Richard, I think you're confirming as well that when updates and versions are made, he tries to email, but email gets lost.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and I guess I never scrolled to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, hi, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I know this is a little bit of a long shot, but I was calling about 84 Front Street in Enola. We've got a client who is very aggressively looking to add to their portfolio here this winter or even spring. And we're reaching out to homeowners like yourself with multifamily properties in particular Eastern Cumberland County. If there's any chance you'd consider selling, if you could let me know. And in fact, if you could let me know either way, that would be greatly appreciated. I did shoot you a text as well. Thanks so much, and stay warm. All right. These emails, I don't know. The first 2 are Gmails, but they're funky. But it costs nothing to send them. So it costs nothing, and it takes a matter of seconds. One of them is the domain is bigfoot.com. Something at bigfoot.com. I've never seen that before. We'll see here. So one of the updates, I had no idea. Oh, look at this. I had no idea that this had happened, but one of the updates, it actually shows the delinquent taxes. I didn't even know that he was showing that it was on the tax default lists. This one also has 100% sell score. So wonder, is this? Oh, here's an idea that we need to do for Sean. You know how Sean, for Founders Club members, you know how Sean added the AI search for expireds to see if they're on market? We should just put that on all seller cards. Because I'm wondering, with this having 100 sell score, I'm wondering, like, is this listed on the market? So I'm going to take a quick peek. Normally I wouldn't care. But let me just take a quick peek here because I'm just curious more than anything. 35 tuna. It's not currently for sale. Well, son of a gun. Well, let's see if we can track this one down. What do we got here? Best number. We got a lot of DNCs. So unfortunately, we're going to have to go the email route. But I mean, the first email is his name at Hotmail. And I'll throw, and the third one is his name at Gmail. One of these three emails is definitely this person's email because it's name at Hotmail, name at Yahoo, name at Gmail. One of those is good. What's the it's got the delinquent taxes on this one. What's the sell score on this one? This one's in-state absentee and tax default and high equity. I don't see the sell score on this one. Maybe I just don't know what I'm looking for. It's tax delinquent. Christopher. We got a lot of DNCs again, so I'm going to tap to email. And we'll see how am I doing on time? Oh, I got 5 more minutes to get through the rest of the deck. I've got 4 more properties in this deck here. Let's see if I can get through it. Yeah, I got to check with Sean. For some reason, the sell score isn't showing on the last couple. DNCs. So what I'm going to most likely start to do on these properties where I really want to know yes or no is sending them a letter or a note card, because the response rates that I've been seeing on some small tests on simple, very direct messaging with letters and or note cards with thanks have been significant. And direct mail is an artifact that they hang on to. And in fact, the I shared a Zoom that I did with Susan. She got a call last week from a letter she sent out. And when she signed up in Lead Deck, she got a gifted deck of 10 leads. She sent letters to all 10. One of them called her last week. And she had the conversation. She said the conversation, like, it was all disjointed. I was confused. They were kind of confused. And yet there was still opportunity to be had. And then after the fact, she went and reverse engineered. Where did this person even come from? Why did they and she was able to sort of reverse engineer where that came from. But she had to do a little bit of forensic, investigating to figure it out. Stephanie.
Hi, Josh. So this is what I wanted to talk about with Susan's video that you had sent out. Would you start with the tired landlords looking for the sellers? That the cookie first, and then reach out to the cash buyers to try to make them out.
So that's the deal sprint we're going to do in February, which, by the way, we're going to do that live deal sprint starting February 23rd, is going to be absentee owner / tired landlord, and starting with that first.
Okay. And then what would be the messaging if you were like you didn't get them on the phone? What would your text be?
The exact same. Hey, Stephanie, this is Josh with eXp Realty. Is there any chance you'd consider selling your property at street address to a private client of mine this winter or spring, or to a private client of mine in the next 30 to 90 days?
Okay.
And then,
So you'd say,
if they say no, not interested, any other properties in your portfolio that you might consider selling? Nope. Got it. One last question, I promise. Are you actively looking to add to your portfolio?
okay.
That's and that can happen by text or voice or whatever.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. All right, this one, the text won't go through, but I think it's my phone. The iPhone texts go through perfectly, but this phone update has been goofy. I'm going to try this, and there's also a landline number. I don't even know who I'm calling. Gina. Gina, hey, this is Josh with eXp Realty. I was calling about your property at 159 South Front Street in Enola. I'm wondering if there's any chance you'd consider selling that property. We've got a private client who is looking to buy, 1, 2, maybe even 3 multifamily properties here in the winter or early spring, in particular in the eastern Cumberland County area. And so we're just reaching out on their behalf. If you could let me know either way. I have tried to text you as well, but for whatever reason, that doesn't want to go through. But this is my personal cell phone. If you could let me know, you can text me at this number. Stay warm, and hope to chat soon. Harry, I don't have a good answer for that yet. I need to create a framework or thought around when and how I decide to use direct mail. I mean, I have an answer on some of that. For example, I sold a house in my neighborhood. I sent out just sold cards because I want more of those. But in these scenarios, a filter process, how to decide, and maybe it's as simple as I've tried to reach them through the means that I have. It is definitely a property that I have a client that would make an offer right now, meaning I'm not looking for bait. I already know with certainty I have someone that would make an offer. They may not like the offer, but they would make it. And it's got X sell score. That off the cuff, that might be another great topic for the lab, although the list of topics now is growing. So we might run out of time. But off the top of my head, as I'm thinking through and processing that question, that's like my immediate thought. Oh, it does have it here. I'm blind. See, this one has 100 cell score. And so I'm going to call the landline, and I'm going to email. And then, I don't know, like, do I then tomorrow morning, if I have not received reply on any of those channels, do I then send direct mail? Work in progress is the answer, but it's worth figuring out and having a filtering process that we can all sort of use in some form or fashion.
Go send your buddy over there to knock on the door.
I could do that too. Yeah. Oh, so bad number there.
Where are you seeing the cell score?
I'll show you in a second. It's easy to miss because I've missed it on several of them, and maybe it wasn't there. Like there are. No matter how hard Sean tries, sometimes the thing seems to have a mind of its own. But the cell score is right below. So you've got the map view and then the address. The cell score, the cell signal is right there. And so I've had a couple in this deck of 8 that are 100, which, again, it's AI. So it doesn't, look, robots are wrong sometimes, but what that means is according to the algorithmic data, they use 800 data points on over 11 million properties. This has a 100% chance of transferring, selling in the next 90 to 180 days.
Okay, I have one that doesn't have a sell score.
Okay, so then I didn't imagine it. If there's no sell score, I'll have to find out from Sean. Is it a glitch, or does it mean that for whatever reason that property they couldn't calculate a score for some reason? But I'll because so I didn't imagine it, because this one also has 100. So some in here I didn't have one. I'll verify in a minute. But I also have several that have 100. And
It seems to be a really good prospect to sell. It's out of state, cash buyer, free and clear, high equity, tired landlord, and vacant.
And so that filtering process, if I can't get a hold of them, and I'm pretty sure Stephanie feels like, I have a decent amount of certainty that I could bring a buyer to this, direct mail to that person, probably not the worst thing in the world. And it's a very direct, like it would literally be the same message. Hello, Harry. Is there any chance you consider selling your multifamily property at street address to a private client of mine in the next 30 to 90 days? If you could, please let me know either way. Blah, blah, blah. P.S. Please hang on to this letter or note card, whatever, in case anything changes in the future. It's really, that's, it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Okay, this is the last one in the deck of this particular deck. And I'm 0 for 8 so far. I've had 0 conversations. But, sometimes that happens. And also, we'll know by tomorrow. But I would be at least somewhat surprised if I get 0 response between now and tomorrow morning from the texts and the emails that I have sent. Because I do know for crap. I'm calling California, 7:35 a.m. I should know my phone numbers better. I knew it was an out-of-state number, but I didn't check where I was calling. What the heck is this person's name? Where is it?
They're going to answer, who the hell's calling me at 7:35 in the morning? It's better be good.
Mike said it's early here. Yeah. Sometimes I'm going to own it. Hi, Mary. This is Josh with eXp Realty. I'm just realizing now that you have a California phone number, and I'm calling from the East Coast, so it is very early there, your time. I'm really sorry about that. But the reason for my call is I am curious if there's any chance you would consider selling your property in Enola. Where is it? It's I think it's on South Enola Drive, 138 South Enola Drive. We have a private client who is looking for multifamily properties in eastern Cumberland County. And so we're just reaching out to see if we can find any that could be a good fit for him. If you could let me know either way, this is my personal cell phone. My apologies again for calling so early, but I appreciate if you could let me know. Thanks. Have a good day. I think I told this story yesterday. I did that accidentally with I think I was doing prospecting live with Hank on my team, and it was worse than now because I called it like 9:05 my time. It was 6:05. He didn't answer, but he did call back, and I just totally owned it. I had no idea. And that way, in that one, I still wouldn't have known because he had a Texas number, but he was living in California. So regardless, if you just own it, most people are just like, okay, yeah, sorry, whatever. There's a landline, but I'm not going to call that because it's also California number. So looking at this deck and knowing, these are multifamily properties in my backyard. They're my zip code. B, I do actually have multiple clients that would go and make an offer right now. And C, I also know, because I did some of this research, I tried to find expired multifamily properties in Enola, and in the last 2 years, there was like 3. All of those things combined mean, I think what I will do, and this will be a perfect tease for tomorrow, is send out letters to the ones on the list. Yeah, see, some of them don't have the cell score there. I'll confirm with Sean why not. But the ones on the list that have a high cell score, there was at least 3 of them that had 100% cell score. This one doesn't have a score. Let's see here. That one doesn't have a score. So half of them have no score, and the other few have a score of 100. Here's what I'll have done by tomorrow. I'll have those, I'll choose letter or note card, and I'll have them out so I can share what those look like. Yeah, see, I think yeah, I'm going to use thanks.io. I mean, use whatever you want, but that's what I'm going to do for sure. Okay, never fails. I'm way over what I had planned, but hopefully we got some value from that. Bill, I will, whether it's on the lab or prior to, we'll see what we can do to continue to make improvements to those response rates for those in the Founders Club. That is at 1 Eastern. 1 Eastern. You should have the link. If you don't, text me. I know Richard already texted me. That is a recurring meeting. So if you had registered for it one time, you should be good to go moving forward. They'll also, if you're watching on the live stream, depending on what platform, you should see other recommended resources and links, including a free live workshop that you can register for in the description. I will be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place, and we'll see what comes from the next 24 hours. See everybody tomorrow.
Josh, have you got to run?
I have to hop on something in 4 minutes. Go ahead, though.
So it's kind of a tactical question.
Yeah. Can you share? Or you don't have to share, but I'm saying if I was more saying, did I turn on the ability for you to share if you wanted? And I think I did.
All right, so just one zip code for sellers. I've got 1 million tired landlords. This is probably hidden. I don't know if you can see that or not, but crap. Anyway, there's just so many. A bunch of out of state, in state, a few inherited, and a bunch of, obviously. I'd go through all my credits just trying to hit that one zip code or something. So tactically, not sure how to do that.
Okay, so I'm not saying this is the right answer. This is the way my brain works and what has worked with me. I want to start with the small buckets and work my way up for 2 reasons. Number one, that feels like I'm accomplishing something, and it's easier to work with small data and work your way up from there. Number two, if they're was that multifamily? What was that?
No, single family.
It was single family. So if they're on the inherited list, so there was like 4 inherited or something like that. If they're on that, and then they're also on the tax default, if you do run the inherited and you reach out to that, they won't show up in the tax default. So in other words, the numbers in those each of those gets smaller as you have those decks. And this actually makes me, I don't know if this would be valuable or not, but it gives me an idea. It might make sense for us to have the ability for you to create folders of decks. Meaning,
I just sent Sean that.
you did? Okay. So my thinking, because then my next thing is, then I got this whole huge wall of decks versus here is my zip code, single family, seller targets or seller decks. And then I open that and I can see I've got inherited, I've got vacant, I've got tax default or whatever. And so I would start with the real small ones, and then I would even stack. So I'm still doing smaller ones. So I would stack tired and default, tired involuntary, potentially senior default, senior. Like there's lots of ways to slice it, but I think the big, like the meta lesson for me anyway, and I'm just saying what works for me, just the way my brain works, and I think feeling a sense of accomplishment of if I start small and work my way up, it just feels like I'm making progress. And I would also keep in mind deeper with less. So I had that deck of 8, and honestly, the last 2 days, here's what I'm going to do for tomorrow. I'm not just going to look at this deck of 8. I had a deck of 8 and a deck of 3 and another deck of 3 and a deck of 2. I'm going to go through all of those, which is not many, maybe 15, and I'm going to use that filtering methodology that I thought through or talked through with Harry, and I'm going to send direct mail to all of them. Does that help at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Start small, get reps. If Stephanie, you're one step ahead. That's like several times where I've thought, oh, this is a good idea, and Stephanie's like, I just told Sean that. So we'll get working on that as well. I know he's working on several enhancements that he's hoping will go live later this week as well. I do have to run now. I got to hop on another appointment. Thanks all. Yep. Good morning.